All right, this is Professor Denholtz going over Lab 2, Problem 1. So that's this problem over here. And it's a mechanical part. It is undergoing a it's an orthographic drawing. It's not undergoing anything. And so you can see here that this is appears to be a side view, and this is the front view. And these need to be made in parallel in order to properly draw them. And so you kind of have to look at both at the same time. And we're going to be drawing this exactly as we see it here. That's not always going to be the case, but for this week on these labs it is. And these have to be drawn again concurrently. So I'm going to be drawing multiple things at the same time. So the first thing I'm going to draw, let me zoom in a little bit. I'm going to be drawing, I guess I'm going to start on the left. And so it's 2.9 across, and then if we look to the right, we could see it's actually 3.5 vertically, because this edge here is rotated, but the same edge as this, and this edge here is the same edge as this. Remember, these drawings are just it's the same thing, just rotated. So if you rotate this piece to the right by 90 degrees, you get this exactly. And so the vertical height, these should line up. And so this is 3.5. Up and down by 2.9. And so let's start by drawing that. So let's put on ortho mode. So I'm going to go up by 3.5 up, 3.5 up, and then to the right by 2.9, down by 3.5, and then to the left by 2.9. All right, so now I'm going to zoom in, and this is going to be my first piece. And now I'm going to add in a fold line. So a fold line is literally just a line that separates the two drawings. We're going to hide this when we submit it, but for now, this is just going to be separating my two drawings. And I'm going to start with a few projection lines. And now I'm going to go to the projection layer. And I might have drawn that fold line a little bit far, but that's okay. I can move this if I want to. So let's draw a projection line. Projection lines, they don't need to be perfect, but they just need to show us where things line up. They're basically a type of construction line. We're going to be removing them before we have our final submission. And this piece here is going to be from the top projection line to the bottom projection line, and it is 0.55 across. So we could just draw that anywhere. Let's switch back to our solid line. And so now we're going to do from here to here, and then 0.55, back up, and right back here. And so now I've just drawn this part in. And let's see, what would we want to draw next? So we know that the circles are centered at one above the center. And so I could draw a construction line through the center of this that goes from here and one up, and from the midpoint of this line, one down, because we could see that these cylinders are located at one from the top and bottom, and 1.45 is halfway through 2.9, so yeah, it would be right at the midpoint. All right, let's do that. So now I'm going to switch on to a construction layer. So again, this is a layer that's going to be hidden, so we're just going to remove it. So I have object snap on, so it goes right to the midpoint with that triangle. And I'm going to draw a line that's 1.0 up. And I'm going to do the same thing from the top. So 1.0 down. And so now these are going to be the centers of my circles. They each have a diameter of 1.15. And so let's switch to the circle by diameter. And wait, let me switch layers to solid layer. Go back to this circle. And so 1.15. Oh wait, this one should actually be a hidden layer because it's behind the object. So let me delete that and go back to layer. This is going to be hidden. And so we want 1.15. And then for this one, we're going to go back to solid, and we're going to have 1.15. Okay, and I'm going to add in these center lines as well. So I'm going to give this a center mark, and I'm going to give that a center mark. All right, so we're basically done with the left object. And now, so in this case, we really didn't have to go side by side. I was able to draw the full left one without finishing the one on the right. But now let's go ahead and do that. Let me finish that now. So there's multiple ways to do the sides. I'm going to do it in the most orthographic possible way, which shows all the details of orthographic drawings, unless that gets messy. But I think this is going to be the way that shows orthographic views better. Let me try that first. So here, the top part of this circle, let's see, we're going to get a good snap. You know what? Actually, that's going to be harder. I'm going to do it a different way. I'm just going to draw it straight from here. And so if it's a 1.15 diameter, yeah, our option would be we can either do math on this, where we would say that if this is 1.15 diameter, then half of that is going to be this length. And then we would say 1 minus that length is going to be how far we go up, and we would just draw it like that. Or we could do the projection line. I'm kind of inclined to do the projection line. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my, actually, let me see if it just snaps nice and easy here. Yeah, no, that, all right. Let's do, all right, intersection. I think that's going to make it snap nice and easy. Yeah, there we go. Now it's snapping nice and easy. So here is our projection line. Oops, from the bottom of the first circle. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Projection from the intersection of the construction line and the other circle over here. And so now I believe from that projection line, I don't think we need to make the second one because we know the diameter. If the diameter is 1.15, that means the length from this corner to this corner is also going to be 1.15. So I think we could just draw it now without having to do that. So, all right, let's go back to our solid line. And now this is where the circle starts. It goes out by 0.75. And from there, it's going to go up by 1.15 and then back in by 0.75. So let's do that. So we want 0.75. We want vertically 1.15. And then we want horizontally 0.75. Okay. All right, so good. We got that part done. And now we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to go out to the right instead over here. So 0.75, 1.15, and then, yep, 0.75. Oops. Yep, there we go. All right, so we are almost done. We have the whole object, but we have to add in center lines here. So center lines, I would note, there's no standard convention as to exactly how far they go beyond the edge, but they should be going beyond the edge. So let's switch to our center layer. All right, so we're on center, and so we want to be at the midpoint, come a little bit past it, and then go through it. So we have a center line going through this one, and now we're going to do the same thing over here. where we have there we go. So we have a center line through both of them. So another thing that I'm going to do is these are pretty far apart. So I'm going to move it a little bit closer. So I'm going to use the move command to do that, just because there's no need for them to be quite this far apart. So I'm going to select this, hit enter. I'll put the base point over here, and I'm just going to move it nice and close. I don't want the center line to get in the way, but I do want them nice and close. So something like that. The fold line, it is where it is. I mean, I can move it. I don't have to because it's going to be hidden just for the sake of being consistent. I guess I'll do that just so you guys can see the way it should look. So over here, and so what that the projection lines go a little bit far. Now, before I'm done, I want to shut off my other layers. I want to make them invisible. So I don't want to be able to see construction. I don't want to be able to see fold. And I don't want to be able to see projection. And so here, this is exactly what we want to see. This is exactly how lab 1 problem 1 should go. So this will be save. So file, save as, or it's already saved as. You can just do file, save. And then you have to do the same stuff, output, plot to PDF. And that is how we draw the first problem of the lab.